Hello, More Than Commas family. I am welcoming you to a fun new type of content we're going to do where we're looking at the news articles that our clients are reading every single week to give you some insight and candid conversation of how advisors and folks that work for a financial firm see these articles and try to get ahead of what our clients are being exposed to so that they can make sense of it. So to kick us off today, I'm going to ask each of our team to introduce themselves as a part of our panel today. We'll start with Mr. Corey Shepard, who I'm sure many of you know.
Well, hello. I am hopefully the man who needs no introduction, but love introducing myself. I like long walks on non-saltwater beaches and roasting coffee and cooking whatever kind of amazing food that I can. Just popping a ramen into the microwave isn't nearly enough. I have to do 5 different things to even the pre-prepared food to just make it fun. Next up, the only person on this call who hates our logo, Lance.
Well, I don't know why you said that, but yeah, Lance Chisholm, financial advisor here at Sound Financial Group. Oh yeah, I'm not wearing the shirt. I got it. It's just the luck of the draw out of the closet this morning.
I don't know.
Yeah, financial advisor here at Sound Financial Group. I'm in Boise, Idaho. Also love cooking. Corey and I have had lots of cooking time together over the years. It's great fun. But I will say in Boise, I was just looking on the mountains this morning and it snowed last night about 4 inches. And that has my family very excited for ski season.
We're celebrating the 4th of July tomorrow, guys. So that's crazy.
Yeah. And up next, how about Olga?
Good morning. Happy Monday. I'm Olga. I'm the new professional relationship coordinator. I am new to the team and so excited to be here. And Elijah, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sounds good. Hi, everybody. I'm Elijah Fowler. I am also in the Pacific Northwest with Paul Adams in Washington. And unlike the rest of you, I don't do a lot of cooking, although you are challenging me to learn and grow in that department, and my wife appreciates that. So we're excited to jump into these articles today. And I forgot to mention, I am also a financial advisor here at Sound Financial Group.
Right on, right on. Well, here is our first article today, and it's I asked ChatGPT to plan my entire retirement, and here's what it said. Now, it's written by a financial journalist, and as many of you know on this show, I talk often about financial journalists went to school for journalism and may not have gone to school for econ or finance, and all articles should be read through that lens. Just remind everybody of Gell-Mann amnesia, that you could be reading an article, you're an architect, and you're reading all these articles on architecture, and you're like, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. This person doesn't know what they're talking about. And then it's like, some Middle Eastern conflict on the next page. And suddenly you forget the incompetence of half the journalists writing about the thing that you're expert in. And your brain immediately clicks over to the appeal to authority fallacy. And you let that in as if it might be accurate or as effective as it could be. So in this, to set up this article, this person put in their personal financial information on their career as it appears and said, I would like to have you plan out my retirement. And ChatGPT did. Now, I'm going to leave it to our team here to jump out with the first thing they saw in this, that they were like, oh my word. And some of you might be reading this article alongside us as you listen. We've got the link in the comments below or description.
It's funny. I saw the very first thing was I make 7 with 4,000 in expenses, leaving 3,000 allocate. Use those numbers. Well, the first stop is that enough to go towards what you wanted? Like, should some of your expenses not be expenses? I don't know. Like, that's always a question we would ask folks is the spending you're doing supporting your life? I mean, heck, is 4,000 in expenses enough to live the life that she wants? And she should be living on more to really have a good life now. Like, none of that gets into this article.
Yeah, it's like slicing out an entire piece of actual planning and coaching somebody would get. I didn't see that one.
If I was using ChatGPT to plan my retirement, you got to be careful what the prompts are. Like, it's going to answer what you ask. I would start at a higher level question than even that. So it's not even use ChatGPT or not yet. It's just, if you're going to use it, I would use it as a different kind, better as a retirement tool.
Yeah, it's funny. We talk about this a lot because we love using ChatGPT, and like I was using it quite a bit this weekend for various activities, and so much with ChatGPT, to Corey's point, is like prompts and knowing how to interrogate it. And there are often times when we're digging in, it's like, that's a little off, and you ask it a different way. But if you don't know that it's a little off, you don't know to go a little further. And then I have many, many times, even with math, basic math, that it's just totally wrong. So you have to be careful. And that's something I think that's, we all need to be cognizant of as we're going through an article like this or any other time we're using an AI tool right now.
Well, and to your point, if you're not a good enough customer, or you're not aware enough of the topic that you're interrogating, you don't know if it's real. And I'll give one example. In my car, I have Grok on board, and I had a little extra time before a meeting, and I thought, oh, I'll be super productive and I'm going to memorize some scripture. And there's one part of Ephesians I've already done some memorization on. I'm like, well, I'll do a refresh. And it started Ephesians 1. And I specifically asked for the NIV translation. And as it read, I know those first 10 verses well enough to recognize that it gave me NIV, the Message, and New King James mixed. And it took 7 prompts of telling it was wrong for it to give me the accurate first 10 verses. And if I didn't know enough, I would have begun memorizing the hallucinated version of NIV.
You're so right. Like, my favorite way to use AI is for things I know just enough about to be able to instantly double check it. And anything else that's of any consequence, I'm like, I got to do all kinds of other work anyway, just to make sure that it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to that point where it starts, I mean, right where it starts off. So I make 7,000, 4,000 expense, leaving 3,000 to allocate. If you go in and tell that to ChatGPT, it's going to run with that. It might not even ask, well, is 7,000 gross or net?
Post tax. Yeah.
Like, how did you get to 4,000 in expenses? Was that a guess? Like, so I think, again, you have to know how to ask these questions in the right way, not to get something popped out that's maybe not what you were looking for.
Well, it's I've had many advisors who are shocked that well before we're making any recommendations that we gather actual tax returns, actual will and trust, actual account statements. And people ask why. And it's because people often don't actually know what they have. That if you asked a client to list out all of their accounts, and is that IRA or Roth or whatever, there is a great deal of accuracy, but the inaccuracies are too big to leave uncovered, undistinguished. Like, they make a big problem, even if only 20% of the information you gave to ChatGPT is wrong. And we've noticed that over the years and developed ways like give us the account statements that doesn't create discomfort with us and the client. It's just like, oh yeah, this one's an IRA. And then, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, when we're making financial planning, giving advice for people around their finances, we can't move forward with just what we might have been told, because it's the similar problem that we might have with ChatGPT, where you start giving off maybe rote answers or cookie cutter answers, and then that doesn't serve somebody well. I mean, right here on the screen, Paul, you've got the go-go years, and if you scroll, you'll start to see the slow-go and the no-go. So ChatGPT kicks off its advice with a few phrases that we may have even used ourselves in like retirement.
Well, Elijah, I didn't remember the guy's name, but I had to go look it up. But that's from a book by an author named Michael Stein, The Prosperous Retirement. So again, I didn't remember his name, but having done this enough, I know we didn't invent it. ChatGPT didn't invent it. So this is some unattributed quotations, reference material that basically this is that whole, training on other people's information. AI companies making money out of another author's work and not even giving them credit. And this author, like this journalist, and I'm sorry, I'm sure she's wonderful. We're not, against her, but it is dangerous to write this kind of article. And from journalistic integrity, like knowing your sources, who you're referencing, quoting the right people giving attributions and credit. Like all of that's really important, and none of it's happening in this.
Or even just using the content in the right context, where it's like, this is all good stuff, but if you're just starting with that without having first built out the types of questions we want to answer, then you might be going down the wrong road to start.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And the thing that shocked me is not only was that 3 phases of retirement totally unattributed, but then in the math, it did not include any of that stuff up to and including, we'll see, 0 inflation calculation on either what they might earn, both because of like general inflation, but then there's the lifestyle inflation that comes from merit increases and raises and bonuses. So the investment math, it says, is that ChatGPT recommended allocating 50% of my $3,000 surplus, which incidentally, Katie, I think is the article's, Laura, if you're saving $3,000 a month, like let's just, if you play sound effect, Marla, of us all clapping, like that is good, like big uproar.
Dude, yeah.
Great job. Now, what I think goes a little bit wrong is we don't actually have $3,000 a month of savings, of money going toward assets. So the AI calculated
it said 50% to investments, right?
To investments. Yep. And where the rest goes. And we'll get to their investment math in a moment. But beyond the $1,500 a month, it recommended the following: 20% cash savings for emergency funds and travel. That's consumption. I'm saving money in case an emergency says I need to spend it or I want to travel. Another 20% targets debt pay down or big goal funds. So I'm either paying down debt of things I consumed in the past, or I'm planning a consumption for the future. And the final stays flexible buffer for so your plan, it doesn't have you investing $3,000 a month. In fact, you don't have $3,000 a month extra. You have $1,500 a month extra. Everything else you're putting in pockets to spend in different ways.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also just worth pointing out the final 10%, $300 stays flexible as a buffer for unexpected costs. Well, isn't that what your emergency savings funds are? Like, what are the categories it's coming up with?
Now that $1,500 a month is 21% of her gross income, so that's not an awful place as a starting point.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by Sound Financial Group. At Sound Financial, we specialize in helping clients build strong, long-term financial strategies for their retirement. If you're looking for personalized advice to help manage your wealth, visit us at sfgway.com to learn more about how we can help you achieve your goals.
I do have a little bit of question because, like, when somebody writes an article like this, I think they should. It's like when Corey did the episode with all the math on 529 plans. What did you do? Next episode, here's the math. You can look at it. You can interrogate it. What do they not give us anywhere? The chat. Like, tell me what you asked. Like, I am really curious, because if I told you I got $3,000 a month to save, then I'm going to, if your expenses are $4,000 a month, then we're deploying $3,000 to get you financially independent as quickly as possible. If you've cultivated contentment at your $4,000 a month consumption. But I'm not going to joke with you that the other $1,500 a month is savings. It's not. It's setting up consumption for the future, which is a great disciplined thing to do. I'm just curious what the prompt was that ChatGPT said $3,000 a month, and then said, Bob, but you want some travel.
Well, and does she have credit card debt right now? Because it says for targeting debt pay down or goal fund. So is there a reason that would it just throw down, like, if you need some debt to pay down, or did she tell it that she had some debt and that's not in
Was
this?
it high interest debt? Is it low interest? Like, there's so many questions to ask that we just don't know, right?
Absolutely. Well, and I think, they said something about having their house paid off by then. Now they're 45. So I'm assuming there's a house owned now. So, mortgage, which is great. But now it just does the 4% withdrawal rules. At 6% growth, the AI calculated I'd have $750,000 in 20 years. This is one of my big problems. And I even see it coming from the AI models, but I see it so often, is like, there is a number that would be. And I think we did the math and it was like 698,000. It was like just below, actually.
693.61.
Yep. But that's what the AI spit out, and that's what she copy and pasted here. This other one was pretty close to accuracy.
At 6% growth, like, I'd be fine with roughly 7,000 or roughly 750, but roughly 700 to 7 is like, there's no variability of 6% annual growth, right? Like that's just, so that is a weird thing. Now that you mentioned it, I didn't. Also, that's before counting employer matches, Social Security, or other assets. So employer match would add to that 700,000 potentially,
Mm-hmm.
but Social Security is not affecting that number, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're comparing different denominators, right? Like Social Security is an income stream, not adding to the $1 million that she might have saved up. So it's kind of weird to mention it in that sentence to me. Anyway,
Yep. Well,
I'm nitpicking overly, but that's why we're here.
But this is something for when you read this, right? It sounds cohesive, but it's not until you interrogate it a little bit and you go, wait a second, like that's before counting employer matches. Okay, that's probably important. How much is that? If I'm putting in 6 and they're putting in 3, that means it could be a third of my retirement savings. That could be $1 million instead of 700,000 with employer match. I think that might be important to include. So the 1 million generates $40,000 a year, average Social Security benefits of roughly $1,800 a month, and you're looking at $5,100. The AI wrote this would comfortably replace my current lifestyle, especially if major expenses like mortgages were paid off by then.
And did it give her a spreadsheet or a breakdown, or did it just say this would comfortably replace your current lifestyle?
I'm willing to bet it just said that. What is if you do 3% inflation on $4,000 a month? So you need a present value calculator.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking.
And then let's just 3% inflation on $4,000 a month. Person never gets a raise of any sort. They're just bumping along with inflation, and it's 20 years.
We're doing $4,000 a month of present value. No negative. So it's a future value calculator. 4,000 is present, 0 annual payment, 3% interest rate, 20 years, 7,200 a month, 7,224 a month is what her current expenses just inflate to. So in no way does 5,100, in no modest assessment of a prudent person calculating growth. Well, unless that 4,000 is, like half of it is her mortgage, like if she's paying $2,000 a month of mortgage.
I know retirees across the country now paying more in property tax every year than they were paying for their mortgage payment 35 years ago. And so that keeps ticking on, and it just gets left in these articles where people are trying, like the person that reads this article is diligent and interested in taking better care of their finances. And yet, like, Olga, can I pick on you just a little bit?
Yes.
Being newer to the financial services industry, as you read this, doesn't this person just sound smart as all get out, and like they know what they're talking about, and it seems like it's a lot of numbers and it would probably make sense?
Yes, for first read, but as you know, Paul, I'm always looking for those words that are like, whoa, this is too good to be true. And now, especially in this field, I always have this little Paul scanner that I go to. I'm like, Paul, is this real? Is this true? Because I have no idea. I'm like that personal finances for dummies book. I'm even that I'm questioning, because I think a lot of times with the day and age that we live in, a lot of things could be taken as facts. I mean, this is a WSJ article, and people are like, oh, automatically they're like, this is probably pretty good. But the fact that ChatGPT in our day and age, and I use it too, you really have to check, is this real or is this not? So yeah, first look looks good until you look deeper.
Indeed. Well, I do have to say, though, there is one thing I really did agree with. Now, here, the AI emphasized using tax-advantaged accounts, but diversifying between pre-tax 401k and Roth IRA and taxable accounts. This gives flexibility to retirement to manage tax brackets strategically, but with no advice of your $3,000 a month, where should you be throwing it? And ChatGPT
split that up in between, right. And you could, so let me play the go banking rates advocate here for a second, except I'm not really. I'm going to turn on them really fast. So don't, just wait. So, right, they need a ton of content to get people to see these ads. And so that is why this was written. And that's why she was paid to write an article. And so you could say, like, they're not trying to be financial planners. They're keeping it high level. It's beyond the scope of this article, except they're the ones bringing up these questions, not us. And it is dangerous to send people down these roads, especially on a website that is so financial that it kind of looks like an authority in the financial space. Like, this looks just like reading an article on Fidelity or Vanguard or Schwab, where they do have some reason to have a reputation, to have good content on there. So it's like, if you're going to go there, you got to go all the way there, or don't go there at all.
That is that if you're going to read these articles, you got to be so careful reading them casually. Or like, and we have clients that do this often, is they'll see something and say, can we talk about this in our next meeting? And we just throw it on the agenda because they know, like Olga said, they've built their Paul filter and they're like, and I've heard clients say this, like, I read this and I was reading it going, I know Paul will see an issue with this. I just don't see it yet. And we don't give our opinion. We show our clients the path by which we grounded our assessment. Now, I think, ChatGPT asks some good questions. These lifestyle questions matter as much as the numbers. You can have 2 million saved, but be miserable if you're stuck somewhere you hate or obligated to support family members financially. I would agree with that. Max out retirement accounts, build 12 months emergency savings, pay down high interest debt, get adequate insurance coverage, and start tracking investments with retirement in mind. Well, adequate insurance wasn't any part of the allocation of this $3,000 a month. It says,
right,
the phased retirement approach made sense. This is saying what it got right. So did diversifying with different account types and flexibility. Breaking down exactly what $3,000 surplus could eliminated decision. You listened to an AI, and that gave you less decision fatigue. Like, you could also start the morning by like drinking a huge glass of whiskey and blowing off work for the day. That'll also eliminate decision fatigue, but it won't lead to a good life.
Well, and what decision fatigue? I mean, there's still decisions to be made around how are you going to go invest in what insurance do you need? Like, there's still so many decisions to be made. All this gave was like a very rough framework for how you could go deploy that 1,500.
I have sufficiently stuck my head in the ground around all of the questions I didn't address, but ChatGPT told me where to stick my money. And that's all I wanted was somebody. Well, by the way, this is the problem. And maybe they're right for a lot of the logos that people recognize. Is what most advisors are doing is saying, I've got a place to stick your money. Let me see if I can get you to align on sticking your money in the place I want to stick it. And then when they get ChatGPT to tell them where to stick their money, they're like, oh, they've done the job of the, I don't want to name any names, but like Schmedward Jones, or Dorkin Manley, like any of those great big, some of them, that is what they train their advisors to do initially, is just enough financial advising to be able to pitch products in. So when ChatGPT tells them where to stick their money, it feels like it fulfilled what the writer thinks a financial advisor does.
This ad right here, The Psychology of Money, go read that, and then you'd probably do a really good. In fact, we should download Psychology of Money into a chat and say, using only this book, tell me how to plan my financial life.
Upcoming episodes. Corey has actually, we need to do it in the one we've trained. Do you want to do it in Notebook, or do we want to do it in ChatGPT?
Well, what I'd be curious about is to say, like in ChatGPT, that hasn't been trained other than that book, to say, use just the principles in this book and give the exact same prompt that she said she did, and see what it comes up with.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Now, here's what it said ChatGPT lacked, which goes to Lance's point about what decision fatigue did you avoid? Couldn't account for specific risk tolerance. That would seem like a decision. Family situations or personal goals. I would think like what I want out of my life over the next 20 years would be an important component of the plan. The plan assumed I wanted a traditional retirement, but maybe I want to work part-time doing something I love instead. It sounds like the kind of thing a human might be helpful with. I don't know.
Well, it's funny. Isn't that the stuff that we do first with a new client? I mean, it's not like we jump into retirement planning with somebody. We go through all this stuff first and figure out what is it you want? What are you trying to achieve? And let's work with you on that.
Yep. Also, it didn't address inflation's impact on the $1 million target. $1 million in 25 years won't buy what it does today, though the 6% growth rate presumably accounts for that. And I want to say from the top of my lungs, no, it doesn't. Because you are an individual investor without an advisor. And you guys, like, if you're watching this, go out and look at this online. Look at the average returns of the individual investor with no advisor involved. And it is striking how often they perform a little bit above inflation over long periods of time. And so the 6% may be optimistic, at least according to studies out there for individual investors.
Yeah, Paul,
This bottom line. Oh, go ahead, Elijah.
I was going to say the $1 million in 25 years won't buy what it does today. They tell us that in this kind of caveat section, but a couple pages up, it said $5,100 a month. That'll more than suffice and make you feel comfortable. So like, which one is it? If we're going to actually give critique, or are we going to actually lull people into a false sense of security?
Really great point. Yeah. Well, in this, ChatGPT created a solid retirement framework in minutes that would cost hundreds of dollars from a financial advisor. I would say if you're paying just hundreds of dollars, then you might have picked the wrong.
You might want to go ChatGPT if hundreds of dollars is what you paid for your plans.
It's because like what that created, like you can find a spreadsheet model online, like you can find for free that model already. You didn't need ChatGPT to create it. That basic model is actually, if you just 2 years ago Googled, give me a spreadsheet for a financial plan, like you, now of course Google's going to use AI now too. So, but like for financial planning, yeah, you can.
Well, that you're pulling that up. I think it's pretty funny that it mentions that, you could have done this with ChatGPT. What would it cost? But then it ends the article with, you should go get a financial advisor to go build a plan for you. It's like, wait, it was at the very bottom. I missed it the first couple times I actually went through it.
Where was it?
You keep scroll down, I believe. Yeah, but AI can't replace personalized financial advice that considers your unique situation, values, and goals. Use ChatGPT's plan as a starting template, then adjust based on what it actually means to you.
That's all the way at the bottom?
No, it was right there in the middle.
He was just reading it right there.
Man, I was
the second to last little sentence.
It's right at the very top. It's right at the very top right now. Right there, yeah.
So I guess I take that as you need a financial advisor. Maybe it isn't that specific, but personalized financial advice.
And this is a great
but it doesn't say go get an advisor. It says use ChatGPT's plan as a starting template, which if this is your starting template, that is like me starting with like 7 bricks and being like, this will be the foundation of my house.
Which is going to be great.
Lovely. It's going to be fantastic. And I don't think building on this swamp is a problem. Use ChatGPT's plan as a starting plan and adjust. You adjust based upon what actually matters to you. I can't adjust building plans. I don't know enough about architecture. I don't know if that beam will support that roof. And people are building the financial future they're going to live the rest of their life in, like building a house. And there are weak timbers and there are leaks in the roof. And any of those things have the risk of compromising the foundational components. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your rates of return are if you don't have an umbrella policy and you get sued and somebody takes $1 million off your balance sheet. Whoops. Like that. How do you recover from that? Or being in a position where maybe you never revisited your homeowner's insurance and you lived in Pacific Palisades. We had a client there, and because we had looked at their homeowner's insurance and had them double check with their homeowner's insurance that they were up to date because they'd owned the house a really long time, they're going to get enough to rebuild their house. And there are people there that may not. And those are things that aren't even asked, questioned, prompted by the AI or the articles. And we're using AI every day, but we're using it to try to make things make more sense to people or be more efficient in the way we deliver it. But you don't want to use it for the plan.